Good morning all! Hope you're all well. Actually says meow the moment we go live. Hope you're all well out there. We are live and alive on today, Thursday, the 10th of April. What are we doing today? Today, firstly, we're gonna get this cat. Come on you! Meow. The moment we press the go live button, it's some meow, and we love that about you. Alright, today we are building Taigam Master Opportunist. Master Opportunist. That's how you say it. This is a very cool deck. When we were doing the... Actually, let's read the card. Let's read Taigam before we get into it. Taigam Master Opportunist. Master Opportunist. I will say it correctly. Don't worry, everyone. It is a 1 blue for a 2/2 legendary creature human monk with Flurry, which means whenever you cast your second spell each turn, copy it, then exile the spell you cast with 4 time counters on it. If it doesn't have Suspend, it gains Suspend. So, effectively this rewards us for casting 2 spells in a turn. The first one is just there to tee up the second one, and the second one gets copied, and then it gets time counters on it, and then we'll cast it again with Suspend later on. So, that's pretty good. Doubling up your second spell each turn is pretty good. That's like, all it requires is you casting 2 spells. It doesn't have to be just an instant or sorcery. It can be a creature. It can be something like that. That's very strong. When we're doing the set review for this, or when we're doing like the spoiler season for this, I basically said I want this to be ops and extra turn spells. Which isn't entirely how we're going to be building this, but it's kind of the gist. So how we are going to be building this, we've got our little description on screen here. This is a rough guide that we're going to be trying to stick to today. I'll bring it up so you can see it up here. So we're going to want about 14 cantrip or cast or cheap spells that either draw us cards or trigger from casting spells to draw us more cards. About 8 to 10 extra turn spells. That might be a bit lower. We might do some other big things in here. About 8 things to give us additional, either additional upkeeps, because Suspend counters come off on your upkeep, or ways of removing time counters, so we can get those spells coming. Like basically, we want to keep those extra turns, keep those big spells coming. We want 10 bits of ramp or ways to make our spells cheaper, 10 bits of interaction, 4 bits of protection, and then 6 Spellslinger based win cons. That could be things that make big tokens, or it could be big creatures that we're going to copy up. That kind of stuff. So, we'll get in a moment. As always with these deck techs, or with these deck buildings, the link to the deck tech will be down in the description below, and also this here, this is a guide if you want to build it yourself. If you want to, if you don't like some of the cards I'm using, if some of the cards I'm using might be too expensive, some of them you might not have in your collection, you might have other bits of ramp or removal in blue, that kind of stuff. You might want to use other bits. You can customize this how you want. That's the point of these. These are like the building blocks. You don't have to pick the cards I want, but as long as you pick roughly the same amount of similar effects, you will have a functional deck. And at the end of the day, we just want to play Magic. We want to play Commander. We want to be doing things. If we stick to this broad outline, we'll be able to do things and we'll have a lovely time. Alright. This one should be nice and straightforward. I'm looking forward to this one. Alright. Draw a card. Search these options. Let's go to mana value and start adding some cards. So again, what's really nice about this is that what's great about Tarkir is that it's not limiting them to just be instant or sorceries. Normally, like you would see with like basically with a cheap blue spells, with a cheap blue commander that does stuff with time counters. Normally, that kind of stuff is instant or sorcery, like we saw in the not Harry Potter set. Meow. But yeah, we are it's going to primarily be instant sorceries because in blue that's kind of where blue's bread and butter is good instant sorceries. But we'll get into this. So I think Ancestral Vision can come in. Normally I think this is a bit slow in Commander. We'll stick it in for now. Because we're going to have ways of removing suspend counters, it's going to be good. Because we have ways of removing suspend counters, it gets better. And because it can then... actually, I'm trying to think about this. We're never going to be able to copy... Actually, it's a free first spell. That's the point. When things come off suspend, they are the first spell we're casting each turn. Which is nice, because effectively, Taigam kind of like fuels itself. So you cast a cantrip with this out on the first turn, then 4 turns later, it will come off suspend. It will then be a card it will then be a spell you cast this turn, so that then the next spell you cast will be doubled up. That's actually really good. I like Taigam. Like if the games go long enough, or if you have ways of manipulating the time games thing, I think Taigam's going to actually be pretty cool and good and pretty strong. All right. 0 drop artifacts. I think yes, to be honest with you. These are sort of cantrips, if I'm honest with you. We're not going to have too many of them. I hear this card is good. Aether Spell Bomb is going to come in. Maybe it's a bit of interaction, actually. Maybe it's a bit of interaction. It is a 1 mana thing, so again, it can do that. What is going on with cantrips? Yeah, it can do the thing of being a cheat spell for us to cast at any point in the game, and then it can draw us a card. So it is a cantrip, or it can bounce the thing back to its owner's hand. That can be quite strong, especially as some of our interaction will become in the way of counter magic. Birthday Escape probably good enough in this deck. Like in terms of tiers of these effects, Birthday Escape is pretty low, but I don't know, Ring Tempting Taigam could be pretty strong. And I think we do want a bunch of these effects. I don't know why this is kind of... There's something about Mishra's Bauble that is just not liking. Let's give that a go. Let's see if that worked. Alright. Brainstorm. We're going to add Brainstorm. Normally I actually think Brainstorm's bad in Commander, if I'm honest with you. I might just remove this because it's annoying me when I add a card that's doing it. We will come back and add Mishra's Bauble later. For some reason it was mucking up the tagging, which we don't like. Yeah, Brainstorm normally isn't great in Commander, if I'm honest with you. Like, have you ever Brainstorm locked yourself before? It happens. More in Commander, where you're less likely to have fetch lands, that kind of stuff. If you have no way of shuffling your deck, effectively this is just look at the top 3 cards of your library, middle them around a bit, and then you just know what you're drawing for the next couple of turns. Not ideal. Careful Study. Love this card. Alright. Get in the deck. I don't think we want to go Chromatic Sphere, Chromatic Star deep, because we think we have more. But we consider Surveil 1, draw a card. Love that for us. Where are we? So all these are pretty good. Tarkir can't we block this turn, draw a card? Is that base level what we need? I don't hate this. It just says draw a card and it's 1 mana. That's kind of a vibe, if I'm honest with you. Cataxian Probe. 0 mana. Look at target player's hand and draw a card. Isn't banned in Commander, is it? No, it's banned in a bunch of other things. Restricted in Vintage. Wow. I mean, makes sense. Storm is a hell of a thing. Alright. I don't think we're going to go Illusions of Choice deep on this, just because that isn't actually... You choose how each player votes. If we'll add it, maybe. We'll open it as a separate tab. If we find one other card that cares about voting in this deck, then we can add Illusions of Choice. Leap is probably fine. Oh yeah, we can drop on. Yes, leap is probably fine just because it. We might have something we want to jump. We do kind of want good ones. So mental note is a good one. Mill to draw a card, just filling up graveyards for things like delve, for example. Opt, great card. Get in the deck, please and thank you. Occult Epiphany, draw X cards, discard X cards. So you could cast this for 1 and not do anything. But I don't think we do. Getting down. Okay, we'll see you in a little bit, small cat. I don't think we need this. Let's keep going. All right, the good ones. Here they are. Ponder. Ponder. Is Portent good? I don't think Portent's good. Look at the top 2 cards of target player's library and put them back in any order. You may have that player shuffle, draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. It's probably better than it's better than Illusions of Choice. It's better than some of the ones we've got, so we might do a bit of cutting in a moment. Let's just get as many in as we can. Preordain, very good one. Not Prosperity, not Quicken. Ooh, Ray of Erasure. I had this in a budget deck once. Let's read the errata. Target player mills a card, draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. That's better than probably Leap in this deck, so we'll add it in. We're actually at 15. We'll probably we will cut some of these down, I guess. Ooh, can we do? Do you want to do the Through the Mists chain? I mean, if we're going to do this, we go through the mists into Peer Through Depths. So reach through. So we cast Reach Through Mists. We then cast Peer Through Depths, and then we cast Sift Through Sands. These are all kind of draw 2 cards and then discard a card, or draw a card, or like look at the top 5 cards of your library. I mean, these are all playable in our deck, and then if we cast all 3 of these in a turn, we get to cheat out the Unspeakable. I mean, it's not great, but it's that I kind of want to add that actually. We're adding a bunch of these effects anyway. We're at, like, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may villains just go from among them, put them into your hand, rest of the bottom of your library. Like that is drawing us into more of the spells that we want. Same with Sift Through Sands, draw 2 cards and discard a card. We want this effect. Like this one is 1 more mana than we would like to pay in this deck, but with all 3 and with Taigam putting them on suspend, is this an unspeakable deck? I kind of want to add that. Screw it. We're playing Commander. Let's get this. This is not. I didn't think Unspeakable Lines was where I was going to be going at 8:20 in the morning, but I'm kind of here for it. These are all effects that we want. Again, we are definitely. This is not building optimally, but it's rad. We'll just put the Unspeakable over here. Again, not how I thought this morning was going to go, but. Then what's up with Moxville this morning? It's not having the best of times. Is that better? Yes. Okay, that's all it needs. It just needed a little bit more window space. Marvellous. Right, so we do have 18 of these now, but I think let's go through and actually get some... Let's just get the peak one. So Serum Visions is better than some of the other ones we have in here. So we will be cutting some of these in a moment. I don't think... that artwork on Skullclamp is hideous. Dreadful. Where are we? Keep going. Thought Scour, another actual good one. Again, this is so when I'm adding these cards, you don't have to add the Unspeakable to your deck. This is not something that you have to do. I'm doing it because I'm being weird. Because I think it's cool. With Flashback? Probably a vibe. But again, this is what the sections are for. You can add... You don't have to add Peer Through Depths. You can add good cards. Alright, let's keep it going. Generally, ones on instance will be better because we can do this on our opponent's turns because it is realistically like if everything's on instance, you can do it on your opponent's turns as well, which is quite nice. So we will probably go through, when we make some cuts, we will probably go through and cut the... Meow! We will cut sorceries first, would be my gut. Liberate your own instant so you can get in. We probably won't go up to 3 mana, but we will go through all the 2s. See what's here. Meow, 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 darling. Come back. Yes, you've had your. Have you had your breakfast? Have you pooed? Are you watered? Marvelous girl. Love that for you. Meow. Meow. All right. Right, yeah, just looking for 2 mana cantrips. Aren't as many, which is fine. Ooh, Magus of the Bazaar. Actually, Malcolm might not be a terrible shout in this deck. Malcolm, Alluring Scoundrel, deals combat damage to a player, put a chorus counter on it, draw a card, then discard a card. If there are 4 more chorus counters on it, you may cast the discard card without paying its mana cost. It's got flash, so we can cast it on our opponent's turns. And importantly, with this, with Malcolm, it's doing the looter thing. It's doing the cantrip. It's keeping our deck going, but it's also a bonus way of cheating something big into play or casting something big, and I think I like that. Having redundant effects to Taigam, just being able to just... Yes, it might take a bit of time, but just being able to have more turns where you're able to do big things is going to be, like, again, it's Commander. We're going big. So I think Malcolm is a... Malcolm, in general, I've been really impressed with. So, yeah, let's get it in the deck. Own of the Sea? No. Only draws 1 card. Ominous Seas is a pretty... Darling, she does put her tail in my tea. Lucky I like you, darling. Alright. Predict? No. Pull from Tomorrow's alright. I think we might actually be there, to be honest with you. Because that's the thing. With this, just you want as many things as possible to be on instant. So we will be cutting a bunch of the sorceries in a moment to get us down to that 18 number. Although 24 isn't... 24 is a lot. We will look at cutting some of the worst ones in a moment. Oh, Start the TARDIS is good, though. Surveil 2, draw a card, you may planeswalk. It has jumps out so you can cast it again. I do like this one. This one's been very good wherever I've played it. I think actually top tier cantrip from what I've heard from people who played it. I think twice. No, it's too expensive. Boo. Although you can toss it twice. We'll add them in. We'll make some cuts of these later. We'll worry about it later. Don't worry about it. Yeah, we are coming to an end of this. Cool. Alright, I don't want any 3 mana ones in here right now, to be honest with you. Okay, so we have a wedge here. Let's just go through and cut the actual worst ones. I think it might actually be Ancestral Vision just because it doesn't cast the turn that you put it in. So it'll be sorceries will be the first things that we cut. View options. Sort by mana value, please. Type and tag mana value. Sort by mana value. Cool. Alright, so Birthday Escape might be... What's better, the ring tempts you or unblockable? I'm leaning towards unblockable if it's only a 1. What does the ring tempts you do? It just becomes legend and it gives it skulk. That's not great by itself. If you get to the second one, it's good, which we could do in this deck, but it would be quite later. I think Birthday Escape comes out. What 2 mana sorceries? Again, you probably shouldn't be running Sift Through Sands, but I damn it, it's my video. I want one. This card is very good. But it's probably this one actually. Oh no, it's 1 mana. I'm going to cut this card purely because I haven't played with it yet, so I don't know if it's good or not. It might not be the best of reasonings, but it's what we have. Enter the Enigma's coming out. We do have Leap for that kind of effect. Probably Portent next. How many do we have? 22. Let's leave it as it is for now. Let's do some extra turn spells. These are kind of some. Maybe I think where we'll find room is we won't run 10 extra turn spells. Actually, also our interaction and protection will probably overlap as well, so everything's fine. All right, extra turn spells. So these are kind of the first part of the payoffs for this. These are the cards that are going to reward us for casting. These are the cards we want to copy up with Taigam. These are also the cards that are probably going to make this like a tier X deck because extra turn spells. This deck is chaining extra turn spells. There's no way around how I want to build this. Again, you could just replace this with like Leviathans or like unspeakable type, like big monsters. That would actually be that would also be solid with this, but that's not how I want to build this today. We're committing to the meme of just taking all the extra turns with Taigam, but you could just put in big squiddly monsters, which we'll probably have one or two because at some point we need to win the game rather than just drawing all the cards, I guess. All right, let's do Expropriate. That's a miserable magic card. Seems perfect for this. Temporal Mastery. Ooh, miracling this is miserable. Time Stretch you can get in. Temporal Trespass. Khan's Temporal Sundering. Temporal Manipulation. Olren's Epiphany. Ooh, there is a vote card. Ooh. Actually, yeah, sorry, hold on. Expropriate is also a vote card. Damn it. We cut it, didn't we? Alright, fine, let me... Fine. There's actually 2 of these, so there's a reason to run it. Draw card, vote. Where is it? Illusions of Choice, get back in the deck. What are we actually... Are we going to cut a good card for this? We are, aren't we? Actually, no. Portent. Portent can come out. So, Illusions of Choice. Alright, so we do actually have a reason. We have a little vote sub-theme now. So we have Expropriate and Plea for Power. Starting with you, please play votes for Time or Knowledge. If Time gets more votes, take an extra turn off this one. If Knowledge gets more votes or the vote is tied, draw 3 cards. Worst case is 4 mana, draw 3 cards. Not terrible. Where did Plea for Power go? Now, apparently Expropriate is a game changer. That seems reasonable. Capture of Jingzhou. Can also get in the deck. Moxfield is having a bit of a moment today, but that's fine. There we go, and then let's add one more. Part of the Water Veil, or Beacon of Tomorrows? Let's actually just quickly check something. Taigam, extra turn spells that. I'm assuming these still work because of the way Taigam's worded. I'm pretty positive it's just gonna put them into exile, or it's going to what do you call it? The ones that exile themselves, I'm pretty positive should still work. Is my internet okay? Marvelous. It looks like love it when it happens. Alright, we're going to keep going as if we are live. Right. Well, this looks good. Hopefully you're still... YouTube, are you reading me? Alright, we're gonna continue as if we're live because OBS says it's fine. Something is having a bit of a moment today, but we'll be okay. Alright, apologies for that. So we have 11 extra turn spells. Whenever you cast your thing... that's not what I wanted. But hey ho, alright. We'll double check that later. But let's... What's the most expensive one? Let's cut Beacon of Tomorrows. We only need 10 of these lads. Marvellous. Alright, so we kind of have the bulk of the deck. We have cheap things to follow up into big things. Marvellous. Let's get some ways of removing time counters. So, the point of this is to fast forward those extra turns, to fast forward the big things that we have put on layaway for later with Taigam. I think we just search for time. Actually, should be alright with this. EDH rank. All right. Right. Ooh, copying spell seems quite funny. Yeah, copying our big spells. If you'd copy... sorry. We're already copying that second spell with Taigam. So if you would copy a spell one or more times, instead of copy it that many times plus an additional time, you may choose new targets for the copy. 7 mana, copy target instant sorcery spell you control, choose new targets. That's pretty... That's just going to double up all of Taigam's second... Like, everything we copy with Taigam, we're just going to get another copy. That's pretty good, actually. Right... It's going to be a lot of stuff from the Doctor Who set, is my guess. Creatures you can drive whenever one more guns are put on this creature first time. Where do you have the word time? Oh, first time. Right, okay. Let's do time counters then, because... Much better, okay. Put a time counter on this. Remove 12. No. Jura's Time Bug. This is it. Choose target permanent or you control or suspend card you own. If the permanent or a time card, or if that permanent or card has a time counter on it, you remove a time counter from it or put another time counter on it. So this is a way of removing time counters. It looks like we're back. Hello, everyone. All right. So this is a way of... What do we tag it as? Remove time counters. So yeah, there's a couple of ways we can do this. The first, obviously, time counters, the first one is with spells that actually remove time counters. So we're going to add a couple of those in first. Well, there's our boy. Marvellous. Come on. There's... I think we're missing something on the search. Let's just look at blue cards from Doctor Who. Let's try and get the wording on this. Marvellous. Alright, here we go. Oh, it's time travel. That's what it is. For each suspend card you own, for each permanent you control with a time counter on it, you may remove one. And this has Storm. Oh, that's going to be pretty good in this deck. Jesus. Remove time counters. So it's time travel. That's what they named it as. All right, let's look for time travel. I'm assuming this is going to be pretty good in the deck. All right, blue cards with time travel. Okay, these are probably all going to get in. Time Beetle, Skulk. When it deals combat damage to a player, time travel. Marvellous. with time counters. Wibbly wobbly timey wimey. 1 blue, time travel, source. Okay, so this is actually a cantrip. Marvellous. So we can put this in our cantrip section and cut a 2-mana one. Probably Think Twice can come out. Cool. Well, that's pretty good. What does Rotating Fireplace do? 3 mana, Rotating Fireplace, enter the battlefield with a time counter on it. Tap, add an amount of colours equal to the number of time counters on Rotating Fireplace. 4 and tap, time travel, activate only as a sorcery. For each suspend counter you own, for each permanent you control, time counter on it, you may add or remove a time counter. Oh, so you can add them to this and remove them. It's quite expensive, but if we don't have anything to do with our mana, I mean, we'll call it let's actually call this we'll call this ramp. It's bad ramp, but it is ramp. Right. Let's look up Suspended. I'm hoping if we do this, it will include the rules text on cards. Here we go. Right, clock spinning. Single blue, buyback 3. Choose a counter on target permanent or suspended card. Remove that counter from that permanent, or put another counter on it. So that's another great way of removing time counters. Marvelous. Time Bender. Single blue, 1/1. When it turns face up, remove 2 time counters from a target permanent or suspend card. Put 2 time counters on target. So it's 3 mana to morph it in the first place. It's probably... is that good? That seems really anemic, if I'm honest with you. At least these are repeatable. This is like a... I don't like that, actually, if I'm honest with you. Because we do have some other ways we can remove time counters. The second way time counters come off spells is when is on your upkeep. Is when you untap, upkeep, draw. It's an upkeep trigger. If we have more upkeeps, we will naturally take them off. I mean, that will also happen in extra turn spells. That's why extra turn spells are really good in this deck. But a card like Paradox Haze, we put on ourselves. At the beginning of Enchanted player's first upkeep, that player gets an additional upkeep step. So this will effectively remove two time counters every turn. That's pretty well and good. And then there's one more. I don't know what these do. I'm pretty sure there's a big Sphinx. There's a big Sphinxy thing. Well, let's actually set by mana value descending, actually, because I think this is a big lad. That gives you additional upkeeps. I thought it was. Or it's you pick... What is it called? There's a big Sphinx that... Alright, now we have to spell Sphinx. It gives you... It definitely gives you upkeep, or it gives you a... You know what the card I'm talking about is? Chat, do let me know. I can see the artwork in my head as well. Ooh, Sharding Sphinx, love that card. Sphinx of the second stun. In a post-combat main phase, they're an additional beginning phase. That's what it's called. Additional beginning phase. So beginning phase includes untap, upkeep, and draw steps. So this lad, if this is in play, we get an additional upkeep. 2 upkeeps a turn is what we're after. So there's 6 ways of removing time counters. Okay, we're powering through our stuff here. This is also a great card to double up because it's a 6/6 flyer. Great having multiples of them. How are we? We're 42 cards in. Let's do our ramp. So, Soul Ring. Soul Ring can come in as ramp. Arcane Signet. Can get in the deck, please. Diamond. We want the ability to make blue in this deck, so Sky Diamond gets in. Wayfarer's Bauble can get in the deck. It's good. One of the few ways we have of getting lands out of the deck, which is nice. What else do we want? Nice cheap ramp. I mean, just Mind Stone. Mind Stone can get in. Worst case, it can draw us a card. Felwar Stone. You can get in. One more generic bit. Let's actually just search for add blue. Is an artifact, not a land. Sort by... let's do EDH rank. Let's see what we get. Not helpful. Why are you so unhelpful? Silvermere, maybe? It is 2 mana. I do like the fact that it's 2 mana. I do like Midnight Clock, actually, in this deck. I think that could be quite good. Yeah, it might be Midnight Clock. I would prefer a cheaper one. I said Midnight Clock. Screw it. Alright, so that's a pretty solid base of ramp. Most of this costs less than 2 mana. These are a little bits on the top. We do want 2 more effects, and how we're going to do that is... But there is other ways of ramping you in a blue deck. And because we're a monocolored deck, actually, this is something that we can do. We can reduce the cost of our blue spells. Trying to remember, is it an amulet? There was the ruby. What was Ruby Storm? What one was that? Ruby Storm is a swimmer as well. Marvelous. Medallion, that's the cycle. Right. So we want the blue medallion, because the blue... Jesus. The blue medallion will reduce the cost of all of our blue spells by 1 generic. That's pretty good. Especially as we have all of these blue spells. So this is really good when you're trying to cast multiple spells in a turn, because it's not just the first spell it reduces the cost for. It reduces all the spells. Like every spell will reduce by 1 blue. So that's pretty good. It's one of the benefits of being a monocolored deck. Nice. We've got room for 1 more. 1 second. Father's calling me. I'll call him back in a moment. 1 more bit of ramp. What do we want? What would be good? Let's just add something generic for the time being. And we can look at it later. Oh, actually, hold on. I know what we can do. Extra... Let's add extra planar lens. When it comes in, you exile the target land you control. Whenever a land with the same name as exile card is tapped for mana, you control it adds 1 mana of that additional type. So, this is one of the benefits of being a monocolored deck. In that we can basically put all... Like, we can put a island under this, and then all of our islands tap for 2 mana. Our opponents will as well. So you can do a cool thing of doing... You can do snow islands, which would just be specifically snow islands to tap for double. But in a game of Magic, we're going to get the most use out of blue mana being doubled. I just thought of another one, actually. Do we High Tide? We probably High Tide. I mean, doubling up High Tide seems really good, actually. Right, we're going to add a High Tide. We're a blue Magic the Gathering deck. Is this a tribal deck? It's not. Well, it's sort of cantrip into extra turn spell tribal, if you consider that a tribe. It is doing the bluiest of blue things. Effectively, yeah, it's Taigam, and we are casting a bunch of cheap spells to then cast a bunch of big, impactful spells. That's kind of the goal of this game, of this deck. So we need to get some interaction in here. Let's do exile in blue. Let's get it on instance. There's a couple of good effects that I want. Reality Shift can get in. This is a great bit of interaction. What we'll probably do here is we'll probably combine our interaction and protection section. By that I mean we're going to have counter magic. Ah, yes, yeah. As an incubator, solid bit of cost reduction. Yeah. If you have a bunch of creatures of the same type. Yeah. It's tribal in that, yeah, we're casting a bunch of 1 and 2 drops into extra turn spells and big creatures. We will get to the big creatures in a moment. And we have the unspeakable chain in here because we're gaming. Alright, where are we? I think that might... we have Reality Shift and Resculpt, both pretty good. Let's get the other 2 good blue ones in here of Pongify. Pongify is good. Destroy target creature in blue. What? There's another one in here. Blue. Marvelous. Rabbit hybridization. What is that artwork? I've never seen that before. Alright, so we have 4 bits of removal. Let's look at some counter magic. Oh, actually, ooh, I do like you, phasing of Zemfir. Blue does have some board wipes, sort of. I wonder if polymorph's good in this, actually. I do like a polymorph. Right, let's just do some counter magic. Counter spell. So this will also be our interaction as well. Generally speaking, we only want to be countering stuff that will muck up our game plans. Normally, if I'm doing stuff in Commander, if I'm honest with you, I'm running like negates and offer you can't refuse here, and like swan songs. I want to be countering things that stop our game plan. So it's mainly things like board wipes or other counter magic, which tends to be non-creature spells. This is why I tend to fall in the negate and offer you can't refuse kind of vibe. Or there's one that counters spells that cost like more than 4, for example, because that will stop the board wipe. That's like, if you're in a more creaturey deck, it will stop the board wipe. That's kind of pretty good. But in this, I think we want... Also, because we can do a lot of stuff at instant speed, because, like... These kind of these extra turn spells are sorceries, so we can only really do these on our turn. But we're going to have other, like, the win-con-y type part on this deck. Like, we are going to run some big flash creatures as well, which we can double up. So we've got counterspell in here. Let's get negate. You can't refuse. Let's get Fist Guardianship in here. Actually, how expensive is this card? Again, this is kind of like the technically it's 40 quid. Jesus, I can't be asked to put that in. Very strong magic card, but again, this is where you can kind of tailor this and make it your own. All right. Hullbreaker Horror. This is kind of what I was talking about when I was talking about big flash things. We can get multiples of these in this deck. It will double up with Taigam. We'll come back to Hullbreaker Horror. Actually, let's just put it in now as big, nasty win cons. Is this a game changer? It should be. It's a miserable magic card. Win cons. Alright. Do need 2 more bits of interaction. Ooh, does this transmute for us anything? Ooh, this does get Twinning Staff, which is quite funny. I think maybe we can go bigger here. So Mystic Confluence. It can also bounce something that's already on the board. I do like that. We don't really have any board wipes in this deck. That's because I don't like most of the blue board wipes, if I'm honest with you. Although we don't play to the board anywhere near as much as our opponents. Like, none of this is really playing to the board, so we could do just a big bounce spell. I mean, there is obviously Cyclonic Rift. I can't remember the last time I put Cyclonic Rift actually in a deck I was going to play. It's not the biggest fan of the play pattern. It kind of just like, I generally find it just stalls the game rather than ends it. But this is already going to be a higher tiered deck just because of all these extra turn spells. So for that reason, we should probably run Cyclonic Rift. Thunderclap Drake reduces the cost of instant or sorceries. Let's have a quick look at that. That could get in. I think our ramp section is pretty healthy, but... Oh, I do like that. Oh, and it copies. Ooh, I think, yeah, that is a great shout. Instant sorcery spells cost 1 less to cast, and 2 in a blue, sacrifice it. You may cast your next instant... when you cast an instant sorcery spell, copy it to each time you cast your commander from the command zone. Command only costs 2 mana. I like that. That's a very, very good card. Let's put you in. Thunderclap Drake. Sort of ramp. What's the worst one? Probably Mind Stone. Let's make some room. Let's cut Mind Stone. Alright, so we have 63 cards. We've combined our protection and interactions. That probably means we should run one or two more bits of counter magic. Shockingly, we have 22 cantrips, might be too many. Let's look at some... So, for big win cons, you can go a couple of ways. I kind of want to keep it flavorful. So let's go for flash and big and blue, and let's just see what we get. Hullbreaker Horror is a good one. Jin-Gitaxias? Can't double that, unfortunately. We can double Hullbreaker Horror. I mean, let's not do EDH rank. Let's do this properly. Mana value descending. All right. What's big and horrible and we can add to our deck? Ooh, this is a magic card. Pearl Lake Ancient. It's got prowess as well, which is pretty funny. Return 3 lands you control to their owner's hands. Return it to your hand, so you can dodge counter magic. Emerge is pretty good. I'm feeling Boomer today. Maybe we're going. I mean, we have the unspeakable line in this deck. Defiler Dreams is good for card draw. Yes, when it enters Surveil 4, when you do return target non-land permanent opponent controls in his hand. It is pretty big. Getting 2 of them would be nice. And the reason again we want flash is just because it means we can go. It means with Taigam we can go Brainstorm Dream Eater on our opponent's turns, and then get 2 Dream Eaters and put a second one on. Hold on. Actually, does this work as well with creatures when you cast your second spell? Which oh yes, so the copy we still get a copy in play. That makes sense. So we put a copy of the creature in play, and the original goes into exile. That makes sense. Okay, that's all good. Ooh, Flash Cascade? Oh, Cascade's only from your hand, isn't it? Torrential Gearhulk. There we go. Torrential Gearhulk casting... actually, we don't have any big instants. That's an issue. But there is another one that doesn't have Flash, unfortunately. But, let's quickly go to my cube. I think we want... Scholar of the Lost Trove. Flying when it enters the battlefield, you may cast target instant sorcery or artifact card from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. That seems a pretty dumb way of... getting 2 of these is nuts, actually. Let's add you in as a win con. I think that's obscene. Right. What else do we want? So the other thing for win cons, so we have a couple of big beefy beaters. The other thing for win cons that I want is a couple more generic-y, if I'm honest, generic-y Spellslinger win cons. So by that I mean, actually, I don't hate Chromos Seed Shark might be one, and Shark Typhoon. Shark Typhoon, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create an XX blue shark creature token with flying where X is the spell's mana value. Also has cycling, so it can be used on an opponent if we need a blocker. Shark Typhoon is a great win con in this deck, because just look at all the spells that we're casting. Everything is a spell. Everything is a non-creature spell that we're casting. And when we cast these big extra turn spells, that's nuts. And we will get the copy as well. Shark Typhoon, I think, is going to be an obscene card in this deck. Really, really strong. And then actually the other shark, Chrome Host Seed Shark, I didn't really think about it when I was building this, when I was thinking about this deck in my mind, but this is also obscene. Like, take this card higher in cubes. This card is obscene. How are we removing time counters? So, good question. What we are doing is we have a section up here to remove time counters, so it's under me. To remove time counters, we have things like Clock Spinning, Joyous Time Bug, Time Beetle, and All History all at once. These remove time counters, and then we have Paradox Haze and Sphinx of the Second Sun will remove counters because they give us an extra upkeep. And then just having extra turns will also naturally remove time counters. So in that aspect, I think we're pretty good. I'm going to add maybe one more of these spell slingy type cards. We are slightly over in terms of our count, but we will cut a couple of cantrips, basically. Like, I wanted 14 in the deck, and we have 22, so that is definitely an area we can cut. Cast, non-creature, create token. In blue, please. What's the word for Towrand? What's the... Cast instant or sorcery, okay. Right. So in here, so there's a bunch of options in here. Like the old way of doing this was Murmuring Mystic Towrand. I kind of want to go slightly bigger with like Metallurgic Summonings and Shark Typhoon, because when it goes in sorcery, create an extra color token where X is that spell's mana value. Because we have these big ones, because we have these like 5 and 6 and 7 drop type ones, I think that means that ones that care about how big the spell is pretty good, because it's rewarding us for casting the big spells, which is nice. So you can go in the win cons. This is legendary, so it doesn't get copied, but it's still nice. You can get big, I think. Let's go. We're on 68. Actually, let's just look at the deck. I think we might actually be pretty close to having it. So the curve is, oh, that's all ones. That's all twos. Phenomenal. It's kind of as you expect. Ones, twos, nobody falls, and then it kind of goes up. I think this deck looks pretty sweet, to be honest with you. I will. Let's quickly go to EDH Rec and just do lands for speed purposes. But I think we have the bulk of everything we need. We can also do the sanity check, see if there's anything that we missed. Again, if it's the first time you're watching this, we generally go to EDH Rec at the end, just because... Hot take, I think this is a rubbish Magic card, but that's a conversation for another time. Yeah, we have a lot of these pieces. A copy target spell that wasn't cast. That could be quite good in the deck. Yeah, some free spells. This all looks pretty... kind of as you would expect, like everything we've kind of looked at. But let's just go to the utility lands. Alright, so let's get some lands in here first. And then we'll kind of call it a day. But yeah, I think this deck looks pretty sweet, to be honest with you. I have not built a monocolored deck in a hot second. So with our utility lands, it's basically things that let us play spells again, bonus card draw like War Room and Rivendell, interaction like Otawara, all pretty good. Ooh. You may cast a spell this turn as a day to flash. So that lets us do extra turn spells on our opponent's turns. That's rad, actually. We're not going to have any permanents, so I don't think Nykthos is actually going to be good in this deck. I don't hate Lonely Sandbar as a way of filtering. I love Cephalid Colosseum. Goes in so many of the decks I run. And then we might just be on... Alright. So because we do have Brainstorm and that kind of stuff, and we want to be gamers, you can run fetch lands. I can't be bothered to run fetch lands. Yeah, I can't be bothered to run fetch lands. Like, for optimalness, yes, fetch lands, so you can do the Brainstorm, shuffle the top cards of your library in, feel like a Legacy gamer. But we can just play Legacy if we want to do that. Do we have Stormtide Leviathan? Let's have a look. Ooh, no. Oh, I do like this card. As long as all lands are islands and effects, creatures without flying or island can't attack. This will end a game of Magic. Yeah, why not? Let's have 2 of these. That seems pretty vibey. As I said, we do need to cut probably two of these bad ones. Again, you don't have to run the Unspeakable in here. I'm running the Unspeakable because I think it's a vibe. We have the chain for it in here. Let's put these in win cons. These seem pretty cool. Yeah, so we do need to cut 2 cantrips, but I'll do that probably on my lunch break. Because that's where we need to end it for today. Need to start the day job. Yeah, this deck looks sweet, actually. I do love monocolored decks. Haven't built one in a while. They're a nice different... Like, there's different benefits to them. Like, you get to do stuff like extra planar lens, for example. Nice little way of doing it. But yeah, this deck has everything we need. We have our game plan. We have our commander. We have our cheap spells to cast first. We have our big spells to cast second. The extra turn spells will really play into Taigam because it'll just mean that the next spell is coming quicker. Along with the ways of... Let's put you in win cons quickly. Yeah. Along with the ways of removing time counters to just get all that off pretty nice and quickly. We could definitely add a touch more interaction. Yeah, so it's cut one or two bits, one or two cantrips, add a bit more interaction. I like the fact that a bunch of our win conny type stuff has flash. I could see maybe a way of casting stuff from a graveyard. Maybe actually let's add Leer into the deck. Actually, I think Leer says we can't counter spells. I believe. Why is everything in Spanish? Spells can't be countered. Let's just screw it. Let's add Snapcaster Mage. Just add some like I could see maybe adding 1 or 2 bits of this just as some recursion. But yeah, we'll get this deck list just tuned up a little bit. It'll be in the description if you want to check it out. And again, you can make it yourself by make it your own by using this deck guide up the top. That's going to do it for today. Thank you all very much for watching. I don't think we're going to be here tomorrow. One of the reasons why my dad was calling me midstream was because he's coming up to help me with some housework or work on the house. So we're probably not going to be around tomorrow. So if I don't catch you tomorrow, have a great weekend. We'll catch you all on Monday. Yeah, and we'll see you all soon. You all take care. Cheerio. Goodbye.